What's going on, everybody? Jibba73 back with the Double E Show. This is Banished, and I'm going to show you how I make thumbnails from my Banished game. So, generally what I do is I find a nice, interesting point of view for the topic of the video. So if I'm settling an area and I want to show my settlers arrive and how they set up their stockpiles, this is a great picture. And then generally what I do is I come in here to options, I turn off the status icons, I click apply, and then I go back to resume, and now I don't have any status icons. In Banished, there are two ways to take a screenshot. If you hit F11, it'll take a screenshot with the UI included, the user interface. If you hit F12, it will record a screenshot without the user interface. So it'll just be the picture, no cursor, no user interface, just the picture. So I just took one, and now I'm gonna get a different point of view right here. I'll do this one. And then I try to take into account my thumbnail template that I have that has the game name. And the game name will appear in this area here. And so I'm going to attempt to get the picture right there. So F12. Okay. So that ends that segment. And from here, we'll move into the editor. For thumbnail editing and creation, I use a program called Gimp. Gimp is a graphical user image manipulation program. It's free. You look for Gimp, Google Gimp, G-I-M-P, and you will find this program. I go into Open, where I store my templates here, and I go to Banished Megamod 8, and this is my template. So I know that this is exactly the layout that I'm going to have with every screenshot I take. This is going to be the overlay. This is how I delineate my screenshots from others' screenshots on YouTube. So it has my logo and it stands out, hopefully. And then I'm going to open up the screenshots folder, and you will see the two screenshots that I've taken here and here. Now, if I right click on it and I go, once you have GIMP downloaded, and I go open with, I can open it with GIMP. And then if I right click this one, I can open with GIMP. Now, if I shrink that down, I now have both of the screenshots opened in GIMP, right? So we'll start with this one. I'm gonna right click, copy, come over here, and then I'm gonna paste as new layer. I'm gonna resize it to the format that is best practices for YouTube thumbnails, which is 1280 by 720 or 720p. I'm then gonna use this tool here to center it in frame. I'm going to drag it down below, and I'm going to see, does it have the visual interest that I want it to have? I'm not certain. So now I'm going to copy this one. I come back here, and I'm going to paste this new layer. And we have this one. But this one also needs shrunk down, so I'm going to go 1280 by 720, And coming here, actually I need to do this first. And then I'm going to center it. I'm going to bring it back down below. So we have this screenshot or this screenshot. Whoops, I turned them both off. Okay, this one or this one. I think I like the second one better. So we're going to take this screenshot here. So I'm going to delete the first one from the layout. All right, that's the screenshot. That is the screenshot. Excellent. Now I'm going to come into colors. I'm going to come into exposure. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of brightness so that it stands out. And then I'm going to bring the black level up just a skosh, which gives it more depth of shadow, in my opinion. Then I'm going to take color again, and I'm going to go to saturation, and I'm going to grab the slider, and I'm going to move it up to make it a little bit more green and red. We're going to get that color nice and rich. Now if I bring this back behind, it's a lot more vibrant. It'll stand out a lot more. Now I can check how good it's going to look in a typical thumbnail size on YouTube by hitting the plus or minus keys. So if I hit the minus key and I bring it down to that, that's the typical size thumbnail, by the way. Here, I'll bring it back up. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the typical size thumbnail that you'll see on your sidebar for recommended videos to watch next. So, I mean, you can see there's something occurring there. And it looks like it has some bareness to it, which would be good for settling Silver City. And then if I pump it up like this, that's the size. This is 2 up from 5 down. So 5 down, 2 up. This is the size it would be on an end scene. And that's the size it is when you're creating it. So what you want to do when you're creating a thumbnail is you want to grab something that's visually interesting, and then you want to use the tools, and I mostly use color, so I do exposure and saturation. You use those tools to bump up the edges, make it look sharper, make it stand out. So when it's smaller, you can delineate these things. In its standard form, if you made it small, in its base form, they kind of start to blend into the other pixels. When you're playing a game, any game, you can use a program called Lightshot. It's free to use. You download it, and then you just make it active so that it runs on startup. And then you set up the keys, or the hotkeys that you would have to hit. I use Control F1, and then it'll freeze your picture or your image on screen, and you can grab the region that you want to grab and save it to a document folder on your hard drive. And you can use those pictures for your thumbnails as well. Because what I've noticed is not all games have a screenshot capture feature to them. But this happens to have it, so this is the one I'm demonstrating. If I wanted to, I could even come in here and I could make this bigger, so I could go 1920 by 1080, go scale, bring it back behind, and drag it up here, and now we have the image bigger. Now, the raw image will be a clearer image than if you shrink it down and resize it up. But yeah, like this one here definitely stands out a tad more. And that would be the way that I would go with this before I would just start small. I would use the bigger image. In fact, I can take this one here. Let's go copy. There we go. Paste as new layer. So you got that one there, that one there, that one there, that one there. You see how it's brighter, but it's a little fuzzier? But that's what makes the thumbnail pop more, is the coloration. So, if you like what you watched, hit the like and subscribe button down below. Tell your family, tell your friends. If you have any questions about the process, where to get the programs, anything like that, put them in the comments down below, because I do read them. With that, I will catch you in the next episode of Banished. Peace. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, check out the playlist above, or watch what YouTube tells you to on the right. Oh yeah, and subscribe.